Hello and welcome to Encore, your daily dose of arts and culture. I'm Jade Barker, coming up in today's programme. From Brisbane to Broadway, Australian circus troupe Cassis, awe-inspiring combination of eggs and acrobats continues its world tour here in France. One of the troupe's co-founders joins me on set to talk about exploring the boundaries of strength and fragility. And the show won't go on, well, if France's artists and performers don't get their way, that is. They're threatening to shut down several summer festivals over a dispute with the government to cap their special doll privileges. And breaking gender codes, French actor Guillaume Gallienne lends a certain masculine je ne sais quoi to the leading lady role of Victor Hugo's Lucrezia Borgia at Paris Comédie Française. All that and more coming up, but first let's go meet today's guest. And I'm delighted to welcome to the show Jesse Scott. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Now, you're one of the co-founders of contemporary circus troupe Cassis, and you're here in France performing your debut production called Knee Deep. You created this back in 2011. It's described as a combination of dance, circus, multimedia. For those who haven't had a chance to see it, can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So the show Knee Deep, we created, there's four acrobats in the show, and we're all the four co-founders of the company. And we decided that we wanted to create a show of our own and direct it, create it, and make it ours. So we had a lot of ownership over the work that we were doing on stage. We were all on different corners of the globe going, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this show? What are we going to use? And I kind of had this idea of using eggs to kind of portray, like the human body, if you push an egg in the right way, it's extremely strong. Mm-hmm. If you drop it from a great height, it's going to crack. Like the human body, you step on it the right way, it'll hold the weight properly, but you step on the wrong bit of it and it's not so good. Right,
and so the whole show really does explore this theme of fragility and strength, doesn't it? Why did you guys decide to explore this?
Well, I think it's just a beautiful thing to put fragility and strength together in one show. There is so many different ways of using that with acrobatics. It's a hugely physical show. We spend an hour jumping on each other, swinging from trapezes. So we're very tired and we need a lot of strength, but also it's about being tender with each other as well.
Right. Yeah, it is really a beautiful poetic movement, but also quite nail-biting when you see you guys doing some of those acrobatics. Yeah. And in fact, one of your co-workers, Emma Sargent, has actually injured herself. Is there a lot of risk to this type of performance?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as I said before, it is a really hugely physical show, and it's just a part of the gig, really. We do injure ourselves. We try and take the right precautions to not injure ourselves, obviously, but it does sometimes happen. But we have to, the show must go on, as they say. Yeah.
And you yourself have been performing in circuses since a very young age. How did you get into it?
My father was a filmmaker and he was invited to a youth circus in Australia to create a documentary. And I was 3 months old at the time and we moved to the town that this youth circus was based in. And as a kid, I just grew up being thrown around by the students in the circus. I had a trapeze hanging from a gum tree in the backyard since I can remember. My sister was also a part of this circus, so it's truly in my blood.
Yeah, amazing. You've been doing it since you were knee-high.
Yeah, exactly.
But is there much of a performing arts circus industry, so to speak, in Australia, or is it more is that part of the reason why you decided to create your own company?
I think it's growing much more in Australia now. Circus is becoming a bigger thing. Australia is much more of a sporting culture, so we're really trying to push, come to the theatre on Wednesday nights. That's all right to do. You don't have to watch the football all the time. Yeah. But people are really starting to understand that it is a part of, it is a growing part of our culture, and yes, but in saying that, there's a lot more work for us in Europe. But yeah, so that's why we kind of come over here as much as we can. But more touring in Australia. I'd love that.
So what else is in the pipeline? Any productions?
Yeah, so actually after this tour, we're heading back to Australia to finish work on our new show. And we premiere that in August in Brisbane, where we're based. And then we bring that on the road and we'll be coming back to France with our new show, Finding the Silence. So look out for that one.
Oh, very, very exciting. We're definitely keeping an eye on that for sure.
Yes.
We're going to move on to another report now, but I imagine this might interest you, Jesse, because I can I can imagine that the performing arts industry is tough, as you said before. There's not much of an industry in Australia. Perhaps you might consider moving to France after you see this, because there's no waiting tables or working in telesales for out-of-work artists over here, due to a special dole system which pays them during downtime between jobs. However, the system is running at a huge deficit of around €1 billion, and the government has been trying to scale it down. Of course, this has been met with outrage, as Joe Tandy explains.
They've threatened to bring the curtain down on major summer festivals. Part-time arts workers have been up in arms over planned changes to their special unemployment system. Government plans to scale back privileges have sparked a nationwide strike. Prime Minister Manuel Valls offered an olive branch.
Those who are affected won't see any change in their circumstances compared to their current situation.
Known as intermittents du spectacle, artists and technicians, but also circus performers and clowns, are entitled to generous compensation during the sometimes long stretches without work.
We work on projects that are never very long. There's a big staff turnover. We work on one project at a time, and when it's over, the company cannot keep 200 or 300 people. It's impossible.
In an effort to find savings, the French government struck a deal with unions and employers to cap benefits, delay payments, and increase workers' social charges. Faced with widespread demonstrations, Paris has now offered to cancel the payment delay at a cost of €90 million to the state.
The government is showing an interest in culture, a respect for part-time arts workers that wasn't there before.
For others, though, the offer is just a drop in the ocean. Many artists demand the whole-scale withdrawal of the government's reform.
The delay was a problem, but only a small one compared to all of the rest. The main problem is that the reform still applies. It was inadequate. It wasn't at all suited to our professions. Yet it's still in force, and it's even worse than before.
With French unionists announcing fresh strike action next month, many summer arts events are in jeopardy. Marseille's Dance and Drama Festival has already been cancelled.
Jesse, what do you make of all this then? Do you think artists should have this kind of support network?
Yeah, I think it's really important. As an artist, it's you know, you live by that. You're constantly working in your brain. You're constantly coming up with different things, different art forms, different tricks, I guess. And to be paid for that when you're not working in a show is incredible. In Australia, we don't have anything like that, not even close. So the idea of that for me is just is amazing.
What kind of measurements do you think the Australian government could bring in to give the same sort of support to artists there?
Well, I think any type of support, really. I mean, the Australian government doesn't believe that art is important, where I think art is so important to the culture. If you take away art, you take away culture, and that takes away, you know, a part of humanity in my head. So any type of support the Australian government can give to artists, I would welcome it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on now to, again, a different type of production to your own. However, it also explores some similar themes that you guys do in Knee Deep. You explore gender boundaries. Can you explain a bit, for those, again, who haven't seen it, how you do this?
Yeah, of course. In a typical circus show, you would have you'd have the big guy down the bottom of the pyramids, and the small petite woman up the top, or the woman doing hula hoops or those type of things. Whereas we like to swap that around. We've got our female Emma Sargent, who is a powerhouse, and she holds the three of us, the three guys, on her all at once at a point in the show. And I hula hoop in the show, which is normally a female's role, and we just we like to challenge that. And if the female can do it, why shouldn't they? You know?
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Another production that's breaking gender codes is a play that's currently on here in Paris. Victor Hugo's Le Crézier Borgia focuses on the formidable family of the Italy Renaissance. Guillaume Gallienne takes the leading role, bringing a certain masculine je ne sais quoi to the leading lady. Alex Turnbull has more.
Award-winning actor Guillaume Gallienne is Lucrezia Borgia, the daughter of Pope Alexander VI and a ruthless poisoner. This time, though, the play introduces Lucrezia's son as born from her incestuous relationship with her brother.
Toute l'Italie me hait. Tu as raison. Il faut pourtant que tout cela change. Je n'étais pas né pour faire le mal. Je le sens à présent plus que jamais. C'est l'exemple de ma famille qui m'a entraîné.
She longs for the love of Gennaro, her hidden son, played here by 36-year-old female actress Souliane Brahim.
J'ignore qui vous êtes. Et moi, je ne suis qu'un soldat.
Laissez-moi, Seigneur Gennaro.
J'ai été obsédé par une idée.
I was obsessed with the idea of giving this role not to a man, but to Guillaume. And not because of the film he made. I hadn't seen it when I offered him the part.
Quand je lui ai proposé le rôle, je n'avais pas vu qu'il n'était pas terminé.
Gallienne is indeed no stranger to playing women. In his 2013 film, Me, Myself and Mum, he played his own mother on screen. But Lucrezia's tragic destiny is no light comedy.
Le secret de ta naissance, mon enfant, je veux être la seule à le savoir.
Je regarde jamais Souliane comme une femme.
I never see Souliane as a woman. I don't even think about it. I see nothing feminine in her. I just see my son's gracefulness, the fruit of incest.
Fils, fruit de l'inceste.
Lucrezia herself administers the poison that kills her son.
Mon Gennaro, tu ne sauras jamais rien de mon pauvre misérable cœur, sinon qu'il est plein de toi.
Playwright Victor Hugo dissects a mother's tormented love for her son, and gender issues fade in the face of tragedy.
That brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks to Jesse Scott for coming in and talking to us today. If you want to catch Jesse in action, his troupe Cassis are currently on tour around Europe until the end of summer, performing Knee Deep. We'll be back here in Paris, hopefully injury-free, in November. Thanks to you for tuning in. Don't forget you can get more culture news on our website and social networks. We're going to leave you now with a sneak peek of Knee Deep. Enjoy and see you next time.